What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kitchen Court Cases, where we watch court in my kitchen. And we have a bunch of court to watch today. I'm so glad to see you here. I would love for you to clock in for your shift by hitting that like button down below. I see Sashina, I see Crystal, I see Daylight Disinfectant, my friend. I think there's somebody who made it to Canada who is here to say hello. Look, this came in the PO box today. I am smitten. Thank you so much. Look at this. This is obviously a Larry Beaver. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Is that from you, Daylight? Thank you so much. Seriously, Meryl Miguel, Electric Head Gino, Sashina, Crystal, insert funny name. I hope you guys are all doing well today. It's a beautiful day where I live. I apologize for on behalf of Canadians, me and Larry do, about the smoke. That's not from me, not all from me, but this is from Daylight. Thank you so much, Daylight. So awesome. First of all, I'd just like to say my experience at the post office box when it was addressed to kitchen court cases was totally great. So I think they're going to get to know me there, and I'm excited for that. So thank you very much, Daylight. This is super special. Um, guys, on that note, I'm gonna have him hold my pop for a minute. I'm gonna widen this shot. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Um, it's been quite a day. Um, wrong way. But I have some, it's heavy court, you guys, but we're here for it. I know we are. I know you people are like me. You like the craziness. Look at this. Larry, he's holding my drink. Richard Cranium. Well, now you can say it. Nice beaver. Thank you. Um, so see, that's messed up my lighting. Larry, you might have to come over to a different angle just because of lighting issues. You understand. Regardless, we are I would love something like that. Uh, Sashina, that would be amazing. Okay, I literally wrote the lineup on the fridge. Look, see, I got it. Yeah, sorry. I'm super sorry, little Larry B. But something happens with the lighting. Anyways, clock in. Hi, Lawrence. Let me know what you had for your dinner. If you didn't like what you had for dinner, let me know what you wish you had. Um, what else do we do? Take your medication, drink some water, relax a little bit, take a deep breath, smile, and clock in for your shift. Don't be a dick. Give the like a click too. So, my first thing on the lineup is child support slash sort of divorce court cases. And like I always say, these are real court cases between real people with real outcomes. But what I mostly mean by that is uh, it's real life. So take that as a warning. But we are going to watch two cases at least to start. And this is a different judge than we normally see in this jurisdiction. I think what do they call that? What do they call that when the judge is coming? Pro tem? Is it a pro tem? Anyways, Sashina, I need 3 screens too. I only have 2 right now, but so like I said, be warned. The first case we're going to start with is not as heavy as the second case, but they are both in regards to custody of children. Daylight, you popped my beaver. I love it. Oh, Lanes, thank you for being here. So happy to see everybody. Seriously, this is like so great. Okay, let's get it playing while I get sort of out of the way. I'll pop over here for a moment while we get this going. Oh, Judge, I'm so sorry. I'm totally like up in your business here. Um, you guys, there is such a desperate part of me that wants to play this faster because she talks so slowly. But I think we'll all just have to slow down our pace of life today for a little bit. So, without further ado, we are going to the self represented docket of family law craziness. Um, Also, there's lots of new commands in the chat if you put them in with an exclamation mark. I don't know what they all are because I don't remember, but I did at one point. Okay, let's get going.
Ms. Call, I will turn to you now. I think we have a few matters. I think I'll start with Curtis Hart and Catherine Hart. If you folks are able to unmute and turn your cameras on. Okay, I'm just going to stand up and stretch my legs for a minute. Hopefully you all can still hear me a little bit. This is 17-3-00-46408. Believe I saw Mr. Hart. Are you present and can you hear the court?
Yes.
Okay. And then Catherine Hart, are you present?
Yes.
Okay. And Ms. Hart, I'm having a little difficulty hearing you, so you might need to either move closer to a microphone or speak up a bit.
Okay.
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 So let me get into that digital file quickly.
I did provide a bench copy of the report. Should be there for you.
Oh, perfect. Okay, let me grab that. This also is a case with a lengthy history. So much like before, if I get something wrong, please correct me. I take no ego in this. I hopefully get it right, but with these longer cases, I know you all have been involved in this case for a long time. I am not. Let me look through one more time. Hold on.
Larry Beaver.
I can also email it to your judicial assistant real quick if you'd like.
Yeah, let's see. I don't have a bench copy. I
sent one to you through the clerk's office, but can I have the email address for your judicial assistant?
Yes, you can send it to Sylvia. And I don't have it memorized yet. So let me put it up here real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. So it will be WIR.
Shut the fuck up. Are you joking? Holy moly, I did not hear this part. Wow. Thank you for being so slow that I was able to stop that. Oh, I'm disappointed in her. I'm disappointed in her already. This case gets fucking fire, you guys. All of these cases do. And that's the only reason I'm showing them. She's writing out her goddamn email address, Daylight. Um, Also, I'm gonna be, maybe this is rude, but the person, the woman down at the bottom here who's put her pronouns down there, I bet she did that not because she's like forward, like thinking necessarily, but I bet it's an honest mistake that people have just based on her look. And she's probably like, this is easier. Okay, I'm gonna skip a moment. Hi, Vicky. Um, so here's the thing. Um, this is a pro tem judge, which means she's like visiting the bench to as a substitute teacher, basically. This is Washington State. Hi, Titwissy. Um, so it's Hart versus Hart, and the lawyer in the bottom just down here is the GAL, the guardian ad litem. So, like I said, it's gonna get pretty feisty between everybody here. But the judge, and the reason I say she talks slow is because she really does like slow things down when it's her turn. You'll see what I say. Anyways, let's keep going. Remember to clock in for your shift, please, Titwissy. You're not exempt.
Accomplished today that I haven't mentioned?
No, Your Honor.
Nope.
Okay. So let's start, while I'm waiting for that report to come in, let's start with an update on hair follicle testing and mental health evaluation. So I'll turn to you, sir, Mr. Hart, and let me know where you're at with that.
I got both of those accomplished.
Okay.
I got the results for the hair follicle test turned in. I haven't gotten the results from the mental health evaluation, but they didn't recommend any counseling or give me any diagnoses.
Okay. And I didn't think the records that were submitted to me first were from Ms. Hart. Showing full compliance for the month of May with your obligations, and also fully negative testing. Does that sound right to you, Ms. Hart?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for submitting that. So I think, sir, I certainly will take your word that you have accomplished those things. But the court will need some sort of evidence similar to what Ms. Hart has submitted.
I'm just waiting for the ROI to sign to turn in so that they can send it over there.
Got
Yes,
it. Okay.
Your Honor, I should let you know, he did send me the results of his hair follicle test. He needs a new ROI for the mental health assessment. So I'll be sending that to him today so he can get those shared as well.
Got it. Okay. And let's see. So on that, I guess we could just do, are you guys set for trial yet?
No.
Is this going to trial?
Well, I'm going way, way back.
ROI is daylight. I thought that too. I think I don't know. Release of information. Yes, Crystal. Because it's for his test, so it's the release of information. So smart.
Give me just a minute here.
That's the first time I've heard of that.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that we would require a trial.
Oh, okay.
Neither one of us want to go to trial.
No.
Okay. So the last, when this came back in front of the court after long, long history, it looks like back in March when.
And to be fair, I am on the Pacific Northwest myself. I am giving Pacific Northwest vibes as well because I am in Canada on the Pacific Northwest. So we're probably everybody in this Zoom call is located within like 100 miles of each other, including me.
The GAL was appointed, one of the parties had filed an order for adequate cause. The court said, we're not gonna address that right now. First, we're gonna address contempt, and then they assigned the GAL. So I don't actually see, and you guys can help me out here. If there's still, it seems like out in the ether somewhere, there still is this motion for adequate cause that hasn't been addressed since March. So maybe the folks can fill me in a little bit on what the folks are wanting the court to decide.
Today, when I turned in my medical documents last week, the clerk told me that none of that was going to be happening today. Today was just the GAL report review.
Right.
And so today I'm hoping that after I had a chance to read the entire report from Heather, that I asked the court that adopt her recommendation on that on her report.
So you both have had a chance to review the report, is that correct?
Yes, I've read the whole report.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to get at and is obviously we're going to discuss the GL report. That's why we're here today. But I'm just trying to make sure I understand what the ultimate goal is, because the reason a GAL was assigned is because someone filed a motion for adequate cause that hasn't yet been ruled on. And my assumption is that's because someone wants to change something that was ordered previously. So help me out there a little bit.
Okay, and I'm the one that filed the motion for adequate cause, and this is all kind of confusing to me as so you know. Because me and Mr. Hart were in complete disagreement with both of our proposed parenting plans that we filed at that time, and the court appointed the GAL because we were in complete disagreement. And so she did her report, and the clerk told me that I was probably just going to need to refile a new proposed parenting plan once all this was done. And I think with the GAL's recommendations, all the visitation and everything, it is going to be a process, which I am in agreement with. So I think at this time, the papers that I filed it way back when at the beginning of the year are just kind of, they aren't pertinent right now.
Okay. That helps me out a lot. I appreciate that.
Just to be clear, this lady is a lawyer and a judge. This lady is a lawyer, a GAL, the guardian ad litem. So she's the child's lawyer. And these two, you know what way I'm trying to go. Prison lady and dark sheet for curtains is they are the two pro se litigants. If I didn't make that clear to begin with, this is the pro se or self-represented family law docket. So the only attorney here is for the child. It's been appointed by the county. Neither of these people, while they're speaking and filing motions, they are not lawyers at all. Thank you, Orlando Chiquita. Thank you, Donna, so much. Let me move that up here if I can in time. Can I move it in time? Right over my face. Thank you.
That. So I'll turn to you, Mr. Hart. Have you had a chance? I'm just waiting for that report to come in still, but have you had a chance to review the GAL report and recommendations?
I do. I agree with pretty much all the recommendations except for she recommended a non-professional person for the visitations, for the supervising the visitations, and I don't know anybody. She said she wanted both parents to issue 3 names. The only person that's associated with my ex-wife that I trust at all is her mom, and she lives in Las Vegas. I don't know anybody around here that's willing to do that. My parents aren't willing to be the supervisors for her visitation. And I don't know anybody that's willing to put in that kind of time and responsibility. And that's why I asked it, to be under a professional setting. And that's pretty much it. There's a couple of points in the order that, or in the report that are just like not factually correct, but at the end of the day, it's not going to really change anything because I've never said that I didn't want Catherine to not see her son. I just wanted it to be under supervision and be safe for Eric. And so that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I would like to know when she's going to be, if ever, like at all financially responsible for him. She's not paid any child support. She never bought him any clothes. She doesn't financially support him in any way, shape, or form. I know that she's not legally bound to by means of like any type of court orders to take away, like driving privileges or anything like that. But it just like, I know that it was part of the original contempt charge that she get caught up on that, and she just never has. And so like that is.
Hold on. I need to back that up before I just even say what I think he said. why is my brain not working to go backwards? Why is my brain not working?
Court orders to take away, like driving privileges or anything like that. But it just like, I know that it was part of the original contempt charge that she get caught up on that, and she just never has. And so like, that is kind of a concern. But mostly my biggest concern is that I believe that it needs to be in a place that we can just pay, so I can trust the people, because I just don't trust anybody that has anything to do with her except for her mom.
Can I
That's
speak
where
to that
Eric is
for a
now.
moment here?
Yes, absolutely. So, sir, I'm going to turn to Ms. Call here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can certainly appreciate where Mr. Hart is coming from on that point. My concern around it is my interest, and I believe the best interest of the child is starting to reconnect with his biological mother. Mr. Hart is not invalid in requesting that. The issue becomes resources. Do we have the resources available? I actually agree that Ms. Hart should have to catch up on her child support payment. And I understand where Mr. Hart's coming from in that request. I'm not sure that those resources are available, and to withhold even more visitation due to that lack of resource feels concerning to me. It's a county pay case at this point. We have both parents who are officially unemployed at this moment in time. And so preventing the child from having contact visitation with their mother for that purpose, I was trying to avoid that situation. That's where I'm at with that suggestion.
I'm not suggesting that we like not let her see Eric because of the unpaid child support. It's like she's never paid child support, so I'm like completely used to that. I was just bringing that up, but the main thing is the supervised visits, because I just don't trust any of her associates, and I don't know enough people around here that have that kind of time or are willing. I don't hang out with any of the same people for the most part that I did when I knew her. So that's pretty much it. But the whole thing about I'm not trying to stop her from seeing Eric because of the lack of child support. I was just wondering if that's ever going to be. I was just bringing it up. It doesn't really matter though.
Yes, it sounds like your primary question, or I guess question probably doesn't really sound like it's an objection, but your primary question about the GAL report surrounds who would do the supervised visitation. Is that?
That's my primary concern about it. Like, I have some objections to the facts that she listed down. Like, I was misquoted a few times, but that's not going to change the outcome of anything, so it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't need to bring that up.
Right, and you probably heard me say to other folks, I'm more concerned with any objections or agreements to the recommendations. I certainly understand there's at least two sides to every story. I get that.
Yeah, I have no objections whatsoever to like the timeline. I think that's all great.
Okay. Well, Ms.
It's
Call,
just the supervised visit thing. Sorry about that. Sorry to keep cutting you off.
and who does the supervised visits? And you're saying you don't know anyone who could do it.
I don't know anybody that is willing to do supervised visits for Catherine, because my parents aren't. They would be the only people that I would know that's willing to do that kind of thing at this point in time. But they're not trying to put up with that stress. They're just not willing to do that. And yeah, I don't trust any of Catherine's associates.
Okay. Well, Ms. Call, I'll turn it over to you. I still don't have that report, but I'm sure it's making its way.
Y'all are my associates, just so you know. Anytime I refer to you, like today when I picked up this lovely gift from Daylight Disinfectant, they said, ma'am, your associate sent this to you. And I said, yes, why, thank you. I was expecting that from my associate. This sounds petty to begin with to me, but again, we have to, it's just the poor child, right? Anyways, seriously. What was that? I'll play the video.
Through the printer system and into the courtroom, but I'll have you go ahead.
Like, I know before her, like one of Eric's teachers before had offered to be like to do the supervision. There might have been a school counselor. I can't remember.
Okay.
Like, I don't necessarily need her to pay for it. I don't care if it's like expensive or the cheapest place in town. I just need it to be somewhere that somebody that I can trust.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your input. Okay, Ms. Call, go ahead.
Yeah, I confess. So Kiddo actually does live with Mr. Hart's parents. So I do confess that my hope was that that would be a situation where we could have that occur. I believe Mr. Hart in saying, and again, I don't expect Mr. Hart to carry a lot of trust for Ms. Hart at this point in time. But yeah.
Hold on, he doesn't even live with you? Be careful when you throw stones, sir. Anyways, yes, this episode will be retitled afterwards. I often retitle videos once we find out what the funny shit is going to be. And the funny shit in this one is Larry's associates so far. Please clock in for your shift. I've had a report about it. I need the ratio to be good this week. I'm doing my part. You guys do yours.
I'm trying to think through a quick solution to this. If it really is true that there's absolutely nobody in town,
I will put this out there. I will 100% be willing to be a reference for somebody as the manager and like the corporate manager of Larry's associates. But just be warned, I don't lie. So I will be talking about your true skills based upon how I believe you are in chat. But yes, you absolutely can put it on your resume and I will give you real contact information.
who could handle a non-professional supervised visit, then perhaps we do have to ask for a supervised visit. I'm not a professionally supervised visit. I'm not comfortable, mostly for Eric's sake, of putting him in a situation where he needs to now be with somebody he doesn't know at this point in time, or somebody who we have a long history of needing to rebuild trust with and rebuild a relationship with. And so there does need to be supervision. In my opinion, there needs to be supervision of some kind, mostly for Eric's benefit, to help him be as comfortable as possible as he rebuilds this relationship. So if it's really true that there's absolutely no one, if Miss Hart has a solution to this issue and Mr. Hart can agree to somebody around, I think that would be my number one hope, that they could come to an agreement. If that is absolutely impossible and there's just no way forward, I think that we do have to go to a professional supervisor.
Yeah. Ms. Hart, let me turn it over to you. Do you have proposals for folks? And obviously Mr. Hart would need to agree, that could be there for supervised visitation. Otherwise, as you heard, and I don't know any other solutions beyond professionally supervised visitation, which does cost some money.
Well, I just got this report, last night when it was emailed to me, so I haven't had a chance to reach out to anybody yet. I would have to say that I don't associate with a lot of people. So I haven't gotten that part. Right now, I was just kind of focused on getting these phone calls started. I do have my best friend, Melissa Tavares, who would be willing to do the visits. Mr. Hart knows her very well. She's been my best friend since I was 10. She's a legal assistant down in Vancouver, but would be able to make herself available to do the visits.
Mr. Hart, do you know that name?
I do know Melissa. I don't trust her at this point in time.
Okay. That's fine.
Still muted. Okay, guys, we're going to have to do a little bit of investigating here. I'm going to dip off the screen. We're going to just bear with me for one moment here because I believe that Mr. Hart may in fact be appearing from the pits of hell. Like if we're just going to watch his background of his mirror, of his window for a moment, I'm going to blow it up. We need to just assess this together. Okay, we're gonna go back about 20 seconds, and I want you to look over what is his left shoulder, but you're looking at the right of the screen. Also, hi Tommy V and MI. Let's just keep an eye, guys.
She's a Mr. Hart knows her very well. She's been my best friend since I was 10. She's a legal assistant down in Vancouver, but would be able to make herself available to do the visits.
Mr. Hart, do you know that name?
I do know Melissa. I don't trust her at this point in time.
Okay. That's fine. Here's kind of my thought with this. I think what I'd like to do today, and I'm not trying to cut parties off, please, we'll continue discussions. My thought is, since I don't have the report yet to look at anyway, and it sounds like maybe the parties could use a little additional time to come up with a potential solution for supervised visitation. What if we set this over just 2 weeks? I would certainly note that the GAL report has been filed in a timely manner, and then we'd come back.
I believe it's actually a sheet hanging on the line. That's not a flag. That's too low for a flag. Although I appreciate your guess, Tommy. I think it's a laundry line. Yes, Jody, I agree. Now that I've zoomed it in. But did you not get totally like fireplace vibes at the beginning? I was just like, what the heck is going on behind this sheet? Laura in Michigan, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Look at our newest immigrant to Canada, Beaver. Oh gosh, I'm so thankful, Daylight. Seriously, love it, love it, love it. Um, let's continue. Like I said, this case is going to be the lightest case of the evening. The next case that we have is unfortunately a bit heavier, but I think it's still worth watching. So stay tuned.
Back in 2 weeks where maybe we all have a little time to pick our brains about a potential solution. I'll say the catch-all, if we don't, is that it's going to be supervised visitation. And if there isn't money for that, unfortunately, I wish I had a solution to that, but I don't.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
share? I'm just hearing from a fellow GAL some information that I personally didn't have, which is that Parents Place, while their availability is limited, they charge $25 an hour, which is very, very low. And then Beth Fellows actually can do supervised visitation through her company, and she charges $45 an hour. So there are reasonably priced options should we need to go that route.
Okay.
But Your Honor, if you're comfortable giving Ms. Hart immediate digital visitation while we work on this, I'd really like that for both people involved.
Okay. Let's, Mr. Hart, what is your take on it? Well, first, Ms. Hart, Mr. and Mrs. Hart, actually, you both will have to be a part of this. Do you both have the tech capabilities to engage in Zoom or FaceTime visits between Ms. Hart and kiddo?
Yes.
Yes.
And Mr. Hart, is that something you would be comfortable with?
Facilitating that once he gets back home. Yes.
Okay. When could I'd like to do a bench order that does allow that. How would the parties like that to be crafted?
Well, right now, Eric is with my mom in Nevada, and he will be for 3 weeks.
Okay.
He has been asking her to be able to text me, and he wants to video chat with me, but we were just kind of waiting until court today, hoping that it would be a thing that the court would allow. And so I would ask that the court allow the visitation, electronic communication start immediately, like Ms. Call asked for as well.
Mr. Hart has stated that he trusts Ms. Smith, Ms. Hart's mother, so much so that he sent his son to go stay with her for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like
after reading the GAL report, I take that statement back, actually. Just to throw that out there. She lied to me several times about certain statements that were proven to be incorrect in the GAL report. But I would just much rather prefer that he be home with his whole entire family before that starts, so he can be with his Grammy and Papa. He's only with Grandma Alice, a few times for a few weeks out of the entire year. And I feel like it would just be much better served for him if he was here with everybody else to just unpack all that.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to issue a bench order that I guess, Mr. Hart, here's what I think about. Obviously, you trust this woman enough to have your child. So I believe I can more likely than not trust her enough to supervise electronic communication with Ms. Hart. Currently, is there no electronic communication occurring?
That's
There
correct.
hasn't been any type of communication whatsoever.
Yeah. So let's do this. Let's just kind of baby step this in a little bit. Let's say twice a week. I don't think I want to go into texting at this point. I think that can get a little back and forth and maybe difficult for kiddo to receive tone of voice and face and that sort of thing. So let's say starting now, and I'll do a bench order, 2 times a week, up to 30-minute video calls with mom are allowed.
Your Honor, also by using the Our Family Wizard app,
Okay.
I could monitor all of those conversations and see all communication.
Oh,
That's the beauty of that app. So it's not just Miss Hart and Eric communicating, or Miss Hart and her mother communicating about Eric. It's actually, if Miss Hart is required to only communicate with Eric through that app,
yeah.
it's all it may help Mr. Hart feel some security in that all of that is being recorded and kept somewhere.
Okay. And forgive me for not being super knowledgeable about Our Family Wizard. Does that allow video calls, or is it just at texting? Oh, it does.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I apologize for making that face. I forgot that I anticipate getting a sponsorship from Our Family Wizard, the best parenting app around, or so I've heard. It even allows video calls and for a GAL to be able to monitor it third party.
That's great. Okay. Perfect. So let's do that. I will include that the communication will go through Our Family Wizard. And then if the folks want to set this for 2 weeks out to finish our review of the GAL report, my thought is, if Mr. Hart, you are having heartburn about any of the communication that has taken place, we will also address that on.
Did she just say heartburn? Take your heartburn meds, guys. Let's just. She didn't say heartburn. Did she just slip that pun in there? A last name pun?
If Mr. Hart, you are having heartburn about any of the communication that has taken place, we will also address that on our 2-week check-in.
Is she the most deadpan joke giver ever? She didn't even look up for a response. I mean, was that not a joke? What? How confusing. Hi, Courtney. Seriously, this is crazy.
So that would be July 12th. I believe, if I got my dates right. Yeah. Well,
I'm on the Clark County docket that morning at 9 a.m.
Oh, okay. Would July 19 work?
Yes.
Sort of.
Yeah, I have another case that morning, but I think it may be the same docket. I'm still waiting to find out, but yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Mr. Hart, Mrs. Hart, will that work for you, July 19th? So that'll put us 3 weeks out.
Yeah, that should work.
Okay. Okay. And so I'll just note for today's record, report is timely filed. I just need a chance to review it. I've listened to the parties' discussions about any questions or concerns they have about the report. And then Mr. Hart, I still believe if you can keep working with Ms. Call on the ROI and mental health records and that sort of thing, that will be helpful before July 19th as well.
So does the report, does that get amended once the mental health records come back? Because she says in the report that she recommends certain things that wasn't recommended by the professional. So I'm not sure how that gets fixed in the official report that's going to the court, because she's not a mental health counselor. She made recommendations as if she was, and if she knew the results of what they would be, and that they turned out not to be that way.
I haven't been provided with the results of your mental health assessment, so I didn't
No,
have
but
that
you
as I was
did
writing
assume.
those recommendations.
You did assume in your paperwork.
Well, sir, I'm gonna stop you there, sir. What I'm gonna say is that the GAL and the court will rely upon mental health professionals for our final recommendations and orders. What you have right now, and often what courts do is say, hey, like, we're not sure what's going on here. Based on some evidence we have, we think maybe this, but we would like a professional to weigh in. That's what's happened here. So this isn't a situation where Ms. Call is trying to be a mental health provider. This is a situation where she is asking for input to this court and to herself from a mental health provider. So, sir, the steps that you're taking, the report that you're getting, assuming it says what you say it says, perhaps there isn't further treatment to undergo, but we have yet to see that. So that's what we're waiting for.
Okay.
Okay, does that help?
I mean, I guess.
He's a bit of a dick. Thank you so much, Shane, for being part of the crew. Thank you, Brian and Kimmy. I like this outfit too. It is super duper comfortable, super duper great. Polka dots are doing me well this week. This channel is growing. The views are growing. The videos are growing. This case, yeah, was just weird from start to finish. I know, Tommy, right? Like, that's what happens when you start out on these cases, because one side can tell a story, the other side, there's two sides to every story, and then there's the truth, as they say. Let's just give the warning now. The next case is going to need a trigger warning. There are going to be allegations of abuse. And while there's no graphic descriptions nor pictures or anything explicit, I do like to give you guys those heads up that you will hear that coming up in the next case in front of this judge. So just keep that in mind as you decide on your viewing for this evening. But I think it's a really important video. So, you insert funny name. You should have that emoji because you're a member. It's part of the members emojis. Let's keep going, and then we will see how the next case goes. I thought this one was going to be my spicy one, and then I kept watching, and I was like, oh, never mind. This is the intro.
All right. Well, we'll see the folks back here on July 19th, and we'll address all of these issues again based on new information. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, Mrs. Hart, Mr. Hart, you're free to log out. Okay, and then I think next we have several matters on Adonia Rooney and Christopher Rooney, if you folks are online.
I'm here, Your Honor.
Okay. And we have Ms. Call on this case as well. I'm just going to open up my digital file here. Much like before, this is a long case. So I will do my best to make sure I understand what the parties are needing. I'm showing there was a notice of hearing for a motion for order for deadline extension of a final GAL report. Then also this was set for review hearing for a GAL report. I also show that we're on for a show cause contempt issue that I believe was brought by, let me find it. I have to keep going backwards a little bit.
Richard, we did just become heartless. I love all your punny jokes. They're great.
Mr. Rooney. So Mr. Rooney, you're the moving party on the contempt request?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm gonna just note that. And I think, hold on, let me check my next page. I think that's all. Have I missed something?
One of the reasons I asked for the extension, Your Honor, is that I have yet to receive, at our last hearing, there were assessments ordered, and I haven't received sorry, I haven't received the outcome of those assessments to this point. I'm not sure that they've even all been scheduled yet. So I don't feel comfortable completing the report and making my final recommendations until we have that information.
Understood. So let's ask, let me start kind of with that as our starting point. So Mr. Rooney, have you done a mental health assessment and hair follicle test?
I have not done the mental health assessment yet. I've been running into a timing issue with work. I've been talking with my boss. We got a new hire that is going to be able to cover my shift so that I can schedule for a day off during the week to do the mental assessment. I was able to get the hair follicle done. I was able to leave during my lunch and go get it done and then go back to work. And I sent those results to the guardian ad litem.
You did send and do you have those now? I know it's been, gosh, probably about a month. So you do have those now?
Me or her? Sorry.
Oh, sorry, Ms. Call. Do you have the hair follicle results?
I do, yes.
Okay. So just right now, mental health assessment from respondent is still needed. And then petitioner, ma'am, you were supposed to do a psychiatric assessment. Where are you at on that?
I have been trying to find the correct places to go in order to get that done. I was waiting on the place Heather had recommended and was calling just about every other day, and they finally had gotten back to me. I believe it was last week. So I gave Miss Call on that and informed her what they had said to me. So I am now looking for another place to go to get that done.
Okay. And oops, I'm echoing on someone's microphone. There we go. I do certainly note that I've heard from other dockets and other family law cases that, getting in for mental health assessments and psychiatric assessments is really difficult right now. I get it. So I think the best thing to do on that front is to find, at least at this time on those two fronts, you folks are trying. You both did appear today, so that's all good news. I will sign an order extending the deadline for the GAL report because I think both of those items, well, all three of those items, I should say, are necessary for a complete report. How much time do you think, and I say this knowing what I just said, which is I'm very aware that it's really difficult for people to get in and be seen right now. So what's our timing, do you think? I guess, Ms. Call, I'll ask you.
As far as I understand it, Miss.
We're going to keep talking while we say hi to Mikey from Credence. And Mikey, this is Larry Beaver, who just arrived in Canada today to visit me. And he is so cute. I love him. Hope you're doing well, Mikey. Rocking the show as usual. We have a bit of a downer case tonight, but I think we're going to enjoy it. But it is late for our East Coast people, sort of. Not really. Anyways, say hi to Mikey. Hi, Mikey. Okay, let's keep going. Right, I just muted them, so just unmute them again, Kitch.
No, I have not been able to receive a date yet, but I am working on that. I'm actually currently looking for other places. I have someone else here with me and they're helping me to look for other places around the area where I could get that done.
Well, what if we do, I mean, does 1 month feel too long? I mean, we still might not have an answer in 1 month, but I feel like staying in contact with the court is probably a good thing, depending on how this plays out.
Your Honor, would it be possible to address the other issue before we decide on this?
Absolutely. Let's do that. Okay. All right. Let me
Hachette
get
is
to,
here.
let's move on to the show cause contempt.
This is the show cause contempt. This is the unfortunate incident that will require a trigger warning. But keep in mind, Larry Beaver is here to protect any innocent parties, but there's nothing graphic shown. It's just the discussion. So make sure to clock in for your shift. If you have to take off because this isn't something that you want to see, I totally understand. Just make sure to clock in for your shift. Maybe leave a comment. That would make me happy. Just like Larry makes me happy.
I do have a proposed order here. And my understanding from reading this, and again, please tell me if I'm wrong, and because there's minors involved, I'm just going to be pretty generic about identifying parties, but my understanding is the allegation is that the parent right now is not supervising, well, I'll just read it as stated, not properly supervising the victim and abuser, that they're not being kept separate at night. Sounds like they're often sharing sleeping space. So, Mr. Rooney, what would you like the court to know?
So I got my daughter, her week was over, and my daughter told me that when she goes to mom's, she's been staying at mom's friend's house the whole time. His name is Zach, is what she said. I said, well, do you have fun over there? She said, yeah, but mom drinks beer all the time. I said, well, how do you even know what beer is? Because my daughter's 6. And she said, well, because my mom drinks it all the time. I've seen her drink it like 100 times. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, so when you go to Zach's, where do you sleep? And she said, I sleep on the couch. I said, oh, is there an adult in there with you? She said, no, it's just me, my brother, and Zach's son. We sleep on the couch together. And then after I heard that, I filed the contempt for not supervised, and I'm recommending that we do professional supervision till she starts taking this serious, because I don't want this to happen again. And I recommend that professional supervision at her expense. I say at her expense because I don't feel like I should have to pay for it, because she won't take this serious and she's the one doing the contempt of court.
Ms. Emerson, how do you want to respond?
I just want to first point out that Mr. Rooney is not there, so he doesn't.
Okay, I just want to first point out that that woman is not being covered up by me in any sort of well, here, I'll just fucking prove it. I'm just using the empty courtroom for myself. So I'm not protecting her identity. She is not on the screen. If she was, I would move my ass out of the way. Like I said, this has an absolute trigger warning. So, yeah. What? I don't like that sound from my computer. Okay.
Does not see anything that is actually going on. I just want to first, my daughter, since all of this has began, I have completely flipped my entire life around. Every weekend that I have my daughter and she is home, I consistently have at least one other adult present at all times, just in case, for whatever reason, if I am making a meal for my children, then I'm not going to burn the house down, but I'm also still able to keep an eye on my kids. If I need to go to the bathroom, then hey, I can go to the bathroom and not be hyperventilating, freaking out, worried about what's going to happen. I have multiple people who have said that they will come into court, or they will even write a statement to tell you that I am consistently watching my children. My kids do not sleep on the same couches. We have family movie nights, yes. Or you know what, we do sleep, we all sleep in the living room. Yes, I will not deny that, because my children love family movie nights. But I always keep them on separate couches, separate recliners. There is always an adult present. And I am taking this very seriously. My entire life has been completely turned around because I want my daughter home where she has always been. I am consistently with her. If I am not, then there is a trusted adult, always, always, always. But they do not share sleeping spaces unless it is, family movie night, but it's opposite couches on opposite sides of the living room.
That does not
And
sound
if
like
you would
the
like, even your honor, I do also have.
Ma'am, I'm just going to say this right now. As the mother of a daughter, that's not the right answer. Just not. Like family movie night, I don't give a fuck if The Rock is coming to your living room to reenact his best movies. I mean, maybe with The Rock there, because I don't think anything bad could happen with The Rock. But I mean, you know what I mean.
Have my mom joined in on Zoom as well, who can speak as to how my life has changed and how I am when my daughter is home, and just how I am overall as a parent with both of my children.
Well, I'll be honest, I'm not quite as concerned about how your life has changed as why we are trying to create a scenario in which a young child has to spend any time anywhere near someone with these types of allegations. So I guess
Your honor,
well, hold on. I'm very troubled by this. I mean, here's the deal. You're saying, yeah, sometimes they're in the room together because family movie night is very important to me. But I guess what's important to this court is that I know that I'm not forcing a child to be in a room with someone where these allegations of I'm going to use the word allegations. I'd like to use a stronger word, but have been levied here. I guess that's where I'm having trouble here.
Your honor, so CPS was involved. They came back with everything unfounded. I even sat there and I told the caseworker, hey, have you discussed it with this person or that person? I was in consistent contact with the caseworker. Everything came back as unfounded. The documents were even submitted to the courts. And if it is such a threat to my daughter to be near my son at any point in time, then why is it that my child is begging and pleading and crying, having a complete breakdown, throwing a fit, asking to call her father because she wants to stay longer?
Your honor, if when you're ready, I have some input for you as well.
Yes, please, Ms. Call. Thank you.
So I submitted an interim report, and beyond that report, in which I suggested that I was concerned that Ms. Emerson was not taking these allegations very seriously. It was after that report that I was able to interview our kiddo's mental health counselor, as well as the alleged abuser. The mental health counselor said something exactly similar to what your honor just said, which is that she was concerned. She 100% confirmed that the child is reporting that she has been abused and is still being abused, and does ask to see her abuser, because at this point the child believes that this is a normal part of family life. Yep. And the counselor is very concerned that the child is spending any time with her abuser at all. When I interviewed the abuser, after 45 minutes of conversation, was able to tell me that they've been instructed not to talk to grown-ups about this situation, and that when they do, they get into trouble. I believe Miss Emerson believes that she's doing what she needs to do as a parent to protect her child. But I believe that there needs to be more mental health support in this situation for all parties involved. And I believe that the child who's being hurt is still being exposed to an abuser who doesn't even know they're doing something wrong. So I think there are very serious issues at play in this situation, particularly now that summer has come and the abuser isn't seeing the school counselor anymore. There are some immediate things I think that need to occur, including the abuser being in mental health treatment immediately. He is also a minor. This is a very difficult situation.
Your Honor, if I
Go
may.
ahead. Go ahead.
I just recently, as of yesterday, spoke with my daughter's counselor, and she recommended that we increase her counseling. So we were doing half hour once a week, and she feels that that's not enough time for them. So we did just increase it to an hour weekly every Monday as of yesterday.
Okay, so I'm going to step in here and just talk for one moment because there's something really important that we need to remember here. The alleged person who is perpetrating nefarious things against the child that is the subject of this case is themselves a child. And they also likely were a victim. Okay? The likelihood of that child having been a victim themselves of this type of behavior is astronomically high. It doesn't excuse that behavior. It, however, is a huge red flag for things to be examined a lot more carefully there. I think that it's a very tough spot, however, to put a mother or a parent in, except it's not. Because if she was a single mother with nobody else, then it would be hard. She has 2 children to take care of. However, there's another parent here on the screen who I imagine is fighting for more custody. So at the very least, until things are sorted out, I would have him with the full custody. Again, I'm hearing a lot of selfish words from mom about movie nights and this and that. I don't know, maybe I'm picking it up wrong, but that's how I'm feeling. Judge doesn't look impressed at all. She's just like, they told me this was going to be an easy day. The guy asked me to cover his shift.
So I appreciate that. Here's what I struggle with. I mean, I understand the contempt motion, but I'm much more inclined to say for me, this really is a safety issue for the child. I am going to propose that we, on an emergency temporary basis, restrict any physical contact between the minor child and the minor alleged abuser at this point. And in that order, Ms. Emerson, I mean, essentially what that means is the child, if the alleged abuser is at your house, then your daughter's not to be there, just period.
I understand that. We actually had already done that. The alleged abuser is actually in counseling. He is in the Community Health Integrated Services WISE program, which requires a minimum of 10 hours of participation a week. And we have been in that program since court started.
So is he residing at your house?
Yes. Currently, because it is summer, he is at my mother's. For the time being, just because, I mean, he's going to spend some time with family. But
Do the people that you sent him to know that he's an alleged abuser? And I'm not trying to be mean about that, but that's like, oh my gosh, Larry, what's going on here?
yes, he does live with me.
So if I were to issue an order where the two of them cannot be under the same roof, cannot be together, until we have more information from professionals and including your own assessments, are there ways to assure Mr. Rooney that when his daughter's with you, that the other person is not there? Because I'm kind of hearing two things from you, that the alleged abuser is with your mom, but that he also lives with you. And I'm getting the distinct impression based on the things I've read. And again, understandably, that you are in a position of kind of having to protect two children right now. So I'm not totally comfortable saying that I believe you would follow that order and not have the alleged abuser at home. So help me out here to feel more comfortable with this.
I do apologize, Your Honor, because my child does live with me. But because it is summer vacation, he is out on vacation out of town with my mother.
For how long?
Clarifies that. However, though, I have
How long is he on vacation with your mother?
About 2 weeks, give or take.
Oh, so just a temporary thing. Okay.
Yes. But however, we did already do this before under Commissioner David Nelson's ruling, where my son wasn't to be there if my daughter was. And I complied fully with that. Then he dismissed that and allowed for my children to be together.
Yeah, I see that. I know. I'm looking at the March 30th order. And this is where there was allowed visitation, but that the female child was not to be alone with the male child. The male child was not to go into the female child's room, and that when they are together, there must be adult supervision. And
Yes.
based on the allegations made to this point, I believe more likely than not that order's not being complied with. So
Your Honor, may I say something? I'm Madania's mother.
No, you may not right now. You're not a party to this case. Thank you. So I am very much inclined to amend the May 30, 2023 bench order. But I guess Ms. Call, I would like some input from you. I know that you've been involved in this way longer than I have. And I'm certainly not asking you to make my ruling. I'm happy to sit with that, but what would be your proposal? And I'll tell you, I am leaning towards a solution where we can guarantee that the two children are not in a room alone together. And I'm not sure that I can guarantee that absent taking away visitation from the house.
I actually agree with you. In my interim report, one of the facts I cited is that the children's bedrooms at Miss Emerson's house are downstairs away from, they're on the bottom floor, and the rest of the living quarters are upstairs, including Miss Emerson's bedroom, and their bedrooms are right next door to each other. Miss Emerson did share that there was an alarm on her door, but I wasn't aware of that. I didn't witness that when I was there. I believe it's there. I'm just saying I didn't see it when I did my home visit. Mr. Rooney actually did file a temporary order of protection that was denied. So I would be in support of a recommendation that we try to protect this kiddo from being around her abuser at all costs. I have interviewed, to Miss Emerson's point, I have interviewed a friend who stated that he has been there in support of being in the room when the two children are together. However, I'm inclined.
A non-relative male? Do you know what the statistics of abuse are for children who are in a home with a non-relative male? They go way up. Seriously. So I'm sorry, but the non-relative male is not a good solution to that.
Inclined to really pay attention to a mental health professional who says this child should not have to be exposed to the person who abused her and continues possibly to be abusing her while she's in treatment for being abused. It feels like a very conflicting situation that I think is deeply confusing for the both children involved.
Yeah. I'm very uncomfortable with a child of this age, essentially being forced because of a visitation schedule and a parent who isn't properly supervising, essentially to be forced to be with someone where there are statements in the record where this female child has said this did happen. And I have to take that at face value right now. So I am going to find a couple things. I'm going to find that Ms. Emerson, I do believe more likely than not, you are in contempt of the May 30, 2023 bench order. I don't find that there's been proper supervision to show me that compliance with the bench order has been made. In fact, your own testimony is that there are times when they are together because family movie nights are very important. And I would just say that kind of sits with me wrong. I think there's much more important things that you should be focusing on with this child than family movie nights. So I am going to find contempt. I'm not going to issue any money judgment because I don't find it's a violation of the true parenting or custody order. It's a violation of a bench order, which I think there is some difference there. So I wouldn't be comfortable charging $100, but I am going to write in there that I think that the remedy is that I have the authority and am going to revise on an emergency basis the March 30, 2023 bench order. At this time, until our next review date, I am ceasing any in-person visitation because I know that sounds harsh, but I cannot be convinced based on any statements made by Ms. Emerson today that there's a guarantee that the alleged abuser will not be in the house. So I'm ceasing in-person visitation. I will allow for electronic and video visitation to be coordinated through the My Family Wizard app.
Your Honor.
Go ahead.
So during my work hours, when she normally calls to talk with Myra, I'm at work and she has to call my grandma's phone. My grandma doesn't have a smartphone. She has a flip phone. So she doesn't have access to videos because I work from 6 to 6 Monday through Friday.
Yeah. Mr. Rooney, I think you're having a bandwidth issue. Can you turn off your camera? There you go. I heard the part about when she's with another party, there isn't video access. So just pick it up from there.
Yeah, so my grandma has a flip phone. She doesn't have the access. And I work a schedule of Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I'm not able to use the app for the phone calls. So she's just been calling my grandma's phone directly. Is that okay to still continue to do that? I just won't be able to apply the video.
That's okay. I'm allowing electronic communication, and I'll clarify that it can be through My Family Wizard app, or so you're saying that person doesn't have access to the app, right?
Yeah, my grandma doesn't have access. She has a flip phone, and I
If you-
can if the app is available on her tablet. If I can get it on her tablet, I would be able to do it then.
I see
My
I see Ms. Call shaking her head, and it sounds like I think that's the direction we should go. If you could set her up with the app, and I'll tell you my reasoning anyway, and it might mirror Ms. Call's reasoning, but in a case where I hear some indication that perhaps kids are being coached on what they should and shouldn't tell adults about this scenario, I do think it's important that we're able to monitor what is being said to kiddos.
Yes, and we're gonna use the Wizard app because the actually agree with that because I haven't been able to figure out the Talking Parents app too well.
Okay.
Talking
I would-
Parents actually doesn't allow for third-party observation either. I just learned that recently. So Our Family Wizard is a really nice way to have a third-party observation.
Yeah, so we'll do the My Family Wizard app then. So I think that's what I am going to fill out.
Our Family Wizards. Not yet a sponsor, but soon, hopefully. Call me, Our Family Wizard. Call me.
The contempt and create a bench order exactly along those lines. We'll get that filed and sent over to the parties today after docket. Let's set a review date so that hopefully we have all of the other items in place regarding a review of the GAL report. If we have mental health evals and those sorts of things. If we don't have those, obviously we can talk about further extending that deadline, and we can talk about any review issues that have come up with my new order restricting visitation. So I'm thinking of going to now July 26th or August 2nd.
Your Honor, I'd prefer August 2nd. I'm going to be out of town on July 26th.
Okay. Mr. Rooney and Ms. Emerson, how does August 2nd at 9 a.m. work?
That's fine.
Okay.
And I can make that work for me.
Okay. All right, we'll get you folks set over. I'm going to get those orders issued and signed. Anything else we need to do today?
In that motion I filed, Your Honor, I requested some additional GAL hours. This is a county pay case, so I wanted to request a few more hours for investigation before I continued on.
Yes, absolutely. I will approve that, and help me out. Is there a standard motion, or excuse me, order for that, or would Nelson just do that as a bench order?
I actually do not know the answer to that, Your Honor.
Let me ask around, because I don't know either. So I'm going to make a note to myself. Hours extended. And I also need to sign an order that does approve the extension of the report. So I'll see if I can find something where I can do both of those things in one order, and I'll get that filed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Sorry, I probably said more than one date. August 2nd at 9 a.m. Yes. Okay. Thank you, folks. You are free to log out.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Call, was that it for you on our docket today?
I think that's all I have today, but I'm probably going to see you tomorrow morning. So
Sounds good.
take care.
Here.
Bye.
Okay. Let me just check in with my clerk here for a minute.
Okay, Judge, you check in with your
now that
clerk,
we're
and I'm going to check in
substantially
with my
over
chat.
Time, what would we normally just push through and take the other dockets when we get done?
Yeah. Okay. All right. They book these dockets pretty tight back to back. So I'm running afoul of some schedules. So I was just checking in to see what we needed to do. Thank you everyone for your patience. I know this can be lengthy. I think I see Ms. Turnbull on now. Let's go ahead and take your case. This is number 12 on the docket, 223-0053-808. Mr.
Warning, I don't remember what happens in this one, so buckle up. I doubt it will be worse than the last one, but I really honestly I don't remember. So let's find out together. Also, Tin Man, thank you for being here. Thank you for clocking in for your shift. Everybody else, make sure that you have clocked in for your shift by hitting that like button and say hi to Nana, who's rustling about in the back like a wreck.
Blacklaw, thank you for being here. Dakota Myers, do we have you? Was Ms. Myers present previously when I called this case? Yeah, I don't think I saw that. Okay, let me pull up my digital file here. What I'm showing.
Okay, digital file is going to go down in history books just like, oh, Toucan was in a car accident, by the way. He was in a car accident. He posted a comment on one of my videos recently. He's doing okay, but he was hit by a driver. Not a good sitch. Fuck. Now I lost what I was going to say. Yeah, I can't remember.
My notes are stating that we're here for pretrial management. So if the folks want to let me know.
It's Tupac, by the way, not Toucan. I know who you meant, though. That's who you're talking about. It's Tupac. And he commented on a video recently explaining it. So I will try. I pinned it, actually. I pinned it on the video. Does Austin know he has a dictionary named after him? Iowa Hank, I was really hoping that this might be a Sov Sit case where he was like, I'm going to try a new method. My last name is Black Law, all lowercase.
What they are needing this court to do today. I do show that you have trial set for the week of July 17th. You have trial readiness July 11th. So technically we'd be doing pre-trial today. I don't have the other party present. So let me, I guess, first turn it over to you, Mr. Blacklaw. Are there issues that you believe the court needs to resolve before this goes to trial?
Yes. The phone calls have been completely unreliable. She's given us multiple numbers. She's had the abuser's number listed down. You can hear him in the background. She's having other people on the phone. She's busy talking. And that's not the best for Hazel's sake. And she blew up over the phone when I was there one time, and she was cussing, just slandering my name, everything, while the phone is in Hazel's hand. So that is...
Poor Hazel. Poor Hazel. F in the chat for Hazel. F in the chat for Hazel.
not okay in my perspective. And also, when I was away taking care of a charge back in 2017, she has threatened my significant other, that, and Hazel resides with her, and she knows that.
Yeah. So, sir, let me just stop you there. It sounds to me, and I do note you were not present for the trial setting on May 31st, it sounds like. Right. So you missed that, but what you're bringing up to me right now sounds like factual issues to be resolved at trial. So I want to be very clear. Are you making a request of this court today, or are you simply asking that these issues be resolved at trial?
Today. I would like the phone calls to just stop until she...
Have you filed a motion? Have you sent me any evidence? I don't see anything.
There's a police report about that whole ordeal. she was scared for Hazel's sake and her own kids and had to file a police report because
I don't think you're quite understanding where the status of this case is. You have a trial date set. We're here for pretrial. I can't tell based on what you're saying and the fact that the respondent isn't here, whether this truly is in fact ready for trial.
right.
Ms. Turnbull, I'll turn it over to you. Maybe you can shed some light on this if possible.
I wasn't aware of the more recent allegations, but based on the history of the case, I have made recommendations in the past that the visitation be supervised. And Commissioner Nelson was reluctant to do that. Ms. Myers, I believe, has some mental health and potentially some drug addiction problems that she has been reluctant to seek help for. She's in a domestic violent relationship, and Hazel has been abused in her care. I don't know, it's been an extensive case. I don't know how much time you had to go through it and through my previous reports, but she does have a volatile personality, and I am concerned that what Mr. Blacklaw is reporting sounds like it could be very accurate. So without proof, obviously we can't say, but it is consistent with the nature of the case. And so, you know, like I said, in the past, I have recommended supervised visitations for mom. And I don't know whether mom's ready to go to trial, but she has not been always consistent about showing up for court. And I don't know that, so I'm not sure if we can, you know, were to delay it or continue it, whether she'd show up next time.
Yeah. Just going back a little bit further, given the statements that have been made, give me just a minute. So the temporary restraining order, her physical interaction, is that still in place?
Yes.
Okay. So we've got that. So they're not seeing each other in person.
No.
That order did allow, that was back in January of 2023, that order did allow telephone visits 2 times per week.
Correct.
And so what you're saying, sir, is that you're wanting that to cease?
Yes. I don't see there being any positive outcome for Hazel's sake.
Well, here's what I'm going to say about that. I don't take away that that may very well be true. I don't think I have enough information in front of me to make that ruling right now, nor frankly was respondent served with any documents to give her the heads up that we would be addressing that issue today. So I think just under a due process standard, I think certainly, you know, she should be here, let's be honest, but where someone is on notice that their visitation rights might be taken away, they're probably more inclined to show up rather than what this is listed as today as pretrial management, which is a little bit different type of hearing. So my recommendation is she did participate in the trial setting and claims that she's ready for trial the week of July 17th. You folks both have a readiness on July 11th at 11:30 a.m. So I'm going to keep those. I'm going to keep those on the calendar.
Yeah.
If you believe on an emergency basis, there should be a new restraining order that takes away, that amends the January restraining order and takes away the telephone visits. If you could file that quickly with the court, we could get you noted on a docket probably end of next week or first part of the week of July 10th before trial.
So exactly what am I going to the courts for?
If you're wanting this court to notify the respondent that we're going to have a hearing to modify the restraining order to take away telephone visits, I would need you to file a request to put it on our family law docket Wednesdays at 9 a.m. You would want to file a request for an amendment to the restraining order, or you can file a new restraining order.
Couldn't she just make a motion sua sponte from the bench to do that? Seriously. Whatever. She's busy. She's like 4 hours behind her docket already, I guess. Hi, Val. MB. All my friends are here. Thank you for being here. They are some rough cases tonight, but I think they are important that we watch. Let's see what happens at the end of this one.
And then that does need to be served on her, so she would have notice that that's what we're addressing on that date. I think that's the only way through a due process standard I could really get to that issue. And again, I appreciate Ms. Turnbull's input, and I'm not taking away that what you're saying may very well be true. I think we just need to do it the right way. This request came as a surprise to me, which tells me, she probably would be surprised by this request too. So I think that's all I can do today.
Okay. So there's still phone calls twice a week, video phone.
Yeah, I think at this point, you're going to have to adhere to the orders currently in place. Do you have a way to, are those recorded conversations or?
They're not.
Say that again?
They are not.
They're not?
No.
So my only other recommendation, perhaps to kind of keep things in line, is that you could ask at the start of the phone call whether the other party agrees to be recorded. If they say no, obviously don't record it. If they say yes, though, then you can record it and use it.
Right.
So I think that's the best I can do for you today.
Okay. Is there any way to see if she's either recommendations and got the hair follicle test or any of the treatments that she's supposed to?
Good question.
I'm not aware that she's done anything. She hasn't let me know.
Yeah, DV counseling was ordered. I'm showing mental health evaluation, hair follicle testing. When mother has completed those, she can revisit in-person visitation, telephone and video visitation to continue until then. So, I think that's kind of the status quo, because I don't have any newly filed evidence from you, sir, or from her. So I really can't make any changes today.
Okay.
You were not at trial setting. Are you prepared to go to trial July 17th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that the 11th or the 17th?
The 17th, the week of the 17th.
Okay.
So they'll
Your
let
Honor,
you
is that trial over Zoom or do we need to appear in person?
Let me ask, are they doing those over Zoom?
I think at readiness, they talk about that.
Okay. So the court's just informed me that on your readiness hearing, which is July 11th at 11:30, they can talk to you about in-person versus Zoom versus hybrid.
And that's at 11:30?
11:30 readiness. And that is by Zoom, correct? Yes.
Okay. And Your Honor, I would also like to request some additional hours, as this is a county pay case as well.
Yes. And I'll ask you the same question I asked the last individual. Do you know off the top of your head if there's a form Commissioner Nelson used for that, or did he simply do a bench order, or do you know?
I believe he did a bench order.
Okay. And I think I do see your motion and declaration back in May for the extension.
Yes, and so that covered my hours. I believe, I don't have it in front of me, but I believe that covered my hours up through the report. So this would be additional time for the trial, essentially. These hearings.
Okay, they're boring. They've just set the trial time. Thank you so much. People in court, thank you. They are nice boobs, aren't they? I love them. Funny you should pop by because while this stream is ending, so early you say, yes, but alas, there is more court to watch. I'm going to go and pop in, shamelessly getting myself more subs off of People in Court's channel, making her go live so that I can gain more subs. But that is at 7:15, I think, my time, which is like in 15 minutes. So if People in Court, can you post a link of that? Somebody here that might be able to post a link to that. Alternatively, you can look it up. But it's 10 p.m. where Crystal is. I know. I'm finishing a little early. I'm going to find the link right now. Okay, I will find the link right now. Oh my God, it's right in front of my face. Holy shit. YouTube Daddy, thank you. Oh, we don't need to save it. We just need to take it. In the meantime though, guys, please go ahead and make sure you've clocked in for your shift. You've hit the like button. You have done all the YouTubey things. Here's the link. I've posted it and I will pin it. And I appreciate you sticking with the cases tonight. I hope there's going to be funnier stuff over on People in Court's channel. Because I'm going to go over there and hang out for a little while. Okay? It's fine if we're a little past 10:30. Okay. So it's not going to be for a little while. Perfect. Awesome. Funny clips coming up. I'm excited. If you have like half an hour to kill between now and then, I posted some videos today. Go check those out. Okay? All right, guys. I will chat with you later. Remember that I love you. I'm proud of you. And I will see you in about half an hour on People in Court's channel. Okay? And Larry Beaver says, bye. And thank you, Daylight, so much. Bye, guys. Larry, I said, don't touch me there.